2 weeks into the wipe, I joined this unofficial PvP server, MTS Season 8. On in-game day 321, I was only level 1, so I just started doing my note run on the island as quickly as possible. When the note run was over, I was level 72. I did my early game on the island because I didn't want to start my playthrough without reaching level 100 and unlocking heavy turrets. So I went near the swamp cave and built a spawn point with hidden storages. Then I got myself a level 30 pteranodon. Without mutton or prime meat, high levels take too much time. So I went with a low level. Then I built this structure to help me gather some honey. I trapped a megatherium so I could knock it out, but then we had some visitors. Someone killed our pteranodon, but then left. Also another guy with a wyvern, but 2 weeks deep into the wipe, he didn't care to raid us and let us do our thing. But the third guy thought otherwise and blew up our starter. But we managed to tame another megatherium anyway. We went into the swamp cave, only using med brews, but the poison inside was too strong, so I had to leave quickly. Then we recruited a random guy. We didn't have much to lose, so we choose to trust. And this is the best way to find trustworthy people. Team up with them at the early game and just see if they're gonna betray or keep their word and be decent and honest. If they betray, you'll only lose 5 days worth of stuff anyway. If they won't, you just obtained a good tribe mate. Then we crafted some ghillie armor and went back to the swamp cave. You'll still take damage with the ghillie, but it will be less, so med brews can sustain you a lot longer. I ran the cave once and gained no levels, and then I run it again with an XP note and I gained 3 levels. I don't know if there was something wrong with the cave spawns, or should I had the 4 eggs and 2 eggs experience notes together. Otherwise it was just not worth it. Then I transferred to Valgero as a level 80 player. I went to my new base location immediately by using the pteranodon and the grapple trick. It was empty, so I claimed it. This is the location that I saw getting raided in the previous playthrough. It's right across from the other spot. I checked it out and liked it better than my spot with a crack. Then I used a cliff platform to build down. Then I checked the other spot. It was empty, but we needed to have so much to be able to protect this. And then we built this farming outpost at Snow. We were gonna farm here and then transfer our stuff to the operation base. I wanted to claim the bigger spot when we had enough stuff. And then we farm. At the end of the day, we had an industrial fork, and then we placed an industrial grinder and tamed the Doedicurus and farmed lots of stone and started grinding. And this was the result of our work for today. And I found myself in this weird PvP encounter. I was getting carried away by a PT, and then I whipped it. He fell and I killed his PT, but he got away. Then he killed my PT, and then I found another PT that belonged to this tribe and killed that too. So this guy was built near our spot, and we removed his starter so he would leave. And I went to Genesis 1 and found myself an X-Spacilo and tamed it with Mutton, uploaded that, and then tamed another. Genesis 1 and this ocean platform is the easiest way to tame an X-Spacilo as far as I know. Then our base was getting fogged. Downhill from our base, someone put a heavy turret and a large storage box, and I went out and started soaking that turret with my stego, but it was, as always, very low HP. Then I changed it to my trike, but I got sniped off, and my trike got killed. Then I started shooting his snow owl, and then he picked up his stuff and left. Next day I built a greenhouse under our base using the elevation difference in my advantage, also some air conditioners to keep us warm above. Then we crafted 5,000 bullets. I knocked out a woolly rhino and tamed it with kibble and mejo berries. Then I redesigned our ab zone base and made it out of metal and placed few turrets. Then I built a hidden spawn point with a mortar and pestle, and then we trapped a level 140 Tyrannus and tamed it. Then we got attacked. Our ab zone base wasn't really a hidden spot, and my build was in its very early stages. So a guy with a Bloodstalker easily went up there and started soaking, and not having heavy turrets also did not help. I replaced the turret far behind so it won't get blown up by a rocket easily. Then I changed my turrets to only survivors. And then I spawned behind the enemy and started punching them to my turrets. That did not work. So I spawned here with some stuff from outside. I brought a shotgun and some bullets for the turrets. He somehow died to the turrets and then whistled his Bloodstalker away. I got his kit with a good shotgun and some rockets. Then he managed to uncryo a stego right inside our base. Our turrets were shooting at it, and I also started shooting with the Mastercraft pump action shotgun. I was trying to shoot the player, but I don't think I was doing it right. Then I moved to the compo. That should have done some damage to the stego, right? But I was actually shooting the terrain and not even noticing that my arrows were not hitting. My turrets were getting soaked slowly and my time was running out, and I decided to shoot the Bloodstalker, and I was able to do that. Then I threw few plant sea fruits, but it was not dismounting for some reason, and my shotgun bullets were going through from the same spot that the metal arrows were not. This game is really glitchy. And then they were not going through. Very unreliable gameplay. And then I did a perfect plant Z throw and stunned them all. We tried shooting each other and he was trying to grapple me, but his spot had some kind of weird mesh that we couldn't see. And I found a perfect spot to shotgun his Bloodstalker. And he tried to cryo it, but I got the kill. His stego, on the other hand, had so much HP for my new Mastercraft shotgun. So I switched back to compo. Even though it was primitive, it should do better, I thought. Then I ran out of metal arrows. My bullet count was very low, but I had to shoot. I was down to my last 135 shotgun bullets, and the turrets had less than few hundred. Then he waited, and I used my bullets for quite a long time for this video. And he started shooting back, but it was pretty difficult to hit anything in this spot. And I only had 58 shotgun shells. It was almost over. Suddenly, he was parachuting down. I used that opportunity and placed a C4 on his stego, but it didn't kill the thing. Didn't know how many C4s I would need to kill his stego. And he got tired of all of this shooting and ran to my turrets and placed a C4. I heard and saw him placing the C4, but he did not detonate it. Maybe it was glitched, I don't know. Then I went out and placed a C4 on his stego again, and then I blow it. Then another. I was gonna place another, but the stego did good damage and broke my leggings. I ran back and replaced it. I placed another C4 near the stego, but it was just not doing enough damage, as I thought, because I couldn't really see any blood on the tech stego. And then one more, and I used a torch. Tried to set it on fire, it did not work. And then he was gone. I didn't see him cryo his stego, he just disappeared. His dead dinos lay in the battleground, and I was victorious. But I had 4 turrets with barely any bullets left in them. Then he was back with another Bloodstalker. I only had a whip and Plant Z. I had to fight for my life with very little I had, and my Plant Z saved me. I managed to run back to my turrets. Then it was time for the rockets that I took from the dead raider's body. But the rockets are always dangerous in an area like this. I could fire it wrong and damage my turrets. That angle of the Bloodstalker was really weird, but I was ready with a rocket in my hand, so he failed that trap miserably. Then I set up a trap of my own. I placed few C4s at the entrance, and I waited and waited. Then he came back, then he died. Well, his Bloodstalker died to my C4s, but he managed to do a rocket run and destroyed my turrets. And then he died anyway to the one that was standing. I got some good chitin from his Bloodstalker. He liked to get them slaughtered at my base. And I only had 1 turret left with 82 bullets. And I set up another trap with C4s, and I hid some of the good stuff I looted from him in my hidden storage. I did like that shotgun. And I waited for him to come back to my trap, and he did show up. Those were my last C4s, and he or his Bloodstalker did not lose their lives this time. So now I was down to my last 5 rockets. The splash damage destroyed my armor, but he got scared and ran around. But then I got killed. At the end, I had no weapons left to defend, so I turned off my generator and let the raider check the base in return of not destroying my industrial forge and the camp bench. And I think he kept their promise and left my base alone. I'm not sure because our main base was the snow now. Next day, our outpost turned into an actual base on snow, not fog, and this time it was a proper one for our size. They had a rock golem, pteranodons, and an Argentavis, also a wyvern somewhere here. Anyway, they were ready. I got myself a flag set and then few rockets. I didn't see any turrets, so I just went down to fire them at the enemy. I fired one, but they had turrets protecting their fall, so my rocket blew up on my face. Then I got my stego from the cryo fridge under the trapdoor and then throw it out. I got on my stego and started going down. I turned my stego around to get close to that turret and soak safely. Then they sent their rock golem to block me. Then I was close enough to soak, and they only had a rock golem trying to stop me from soaking, but I had the high ground, so it was over for them. I had an advantage. The rock golem throws were doing damage, but I didn't care for that and went down to soak the bullets. Armin killed the golem rider with rockets, and then I was soaking the bullets freely, but this stego took so much damage, so I had to cryopod it, and I got killed on my way back. After that, they started soaking with a rock golem, but we were ready with our rockets. And then they brought a sniper to keep us locked in, so I countered that. I couldn't shoot the players, so I focused on the Pteranodon, and that worked out in our favor. Then they replaced that with an Argentavis. RGs have a lot more health. Since I just couldn't hit the player that is dangling from a flyer because it moved around so much, RG idea was pretty good. Well, that's a hit. I hit it once. They were cornering us pretty bad. So then I think Armin called one of our old friends to help us in this defense. We were not doing good. He transferred to our server and brought some late game stuff like few heavy turrets and some dinos. But they saw that and accused us of teaming and sent out a ticket to the MTS. And even an admin force joined our tribe. But when he decided that we were fine, we only had 2 players defending this space against a full tribe, and with a friend joining, it was now only 3 people defending this space. We had another in our tribe, that player we recruited near the swamp cave, but he left our tribe a while ago going solo. And since we were only 3, the admin drifter decided that it was not teaming and left our tribe, and we didn't get banned, but we thought we were gonna for a second. Not allowing teaming is to maintain a fair number of people fighting on each side. Is not a bad idea. So 3 against 5 or 6 is pretty fair. That's what they decided. I'm not really against teaming honestly, because our PvP is not supposed to be fair, but this is something server admins gets to decide. Then I used another one of our stegos. We did a good job on this wipe. We were way more educated about the ways of PvP, and we had more dinos that we can use. But we couldn't get to a good base spot at that time yet. They tried to pick up the stego with a Quetzal, but our turrets were close, and also I was near the border on a hill, so they couldn't do it. And there was a guy watching that turret, turning it off and on to prevent us from soaking. I tried to fire a rocket, but their turret was on, but I think only on low range. Maybe it was on wild dinos, I don't know. My rocket was shot anyhow, and then Armin did a great job and killed that guy. So my way was free. I was soaking that turret, but there was another guy watching the turret now, and he was just messing around with the turret. But my stego tail wipes were funnier than his turret trick. And my stego died and my rocket wasn't loaded, so I died as well. And it was their turn to soak, but I was ready to counter that with the Valanazor. And then they were giga rushed. I guess their turrets were soaked and they were busy trying to heal their rock golem, so a giga rush was all it needed to end their raiding attempt. I didn't see what happened to their turrets. Either they picked it up or it was soaked and arming destroyed them. They left us many kits, so I'm guessing tribe mates did a good job rushing their fob. I placed few foundations to claim the area, so if someone tries to fob again, they would need to clear that, giving us some time to prepare. Then I went underwater using my Expasilo. I tamed this few days ago in the Genesis Part 1. I went to my spot I used on small tribes and placed a vault. This was the plan of expansion when we had tech vacuum compartments. I left all the stuff that was on me here in this vault and spawned back in our base on Snow. Everything was looking good, and soon we would be ready to do the Valgera boss fight and unlock everything we needed to go underwater. But then we got offline wiped by the same tribe in the night. We lost pretty much everything except few flyers I hid around. That's how I got here with the Sergeant Davis. And then I got carried through the center boss fight and then the Alpha Megapithecus on the island. And that actually gave me all the engrams I needed. And even more, meaning I now had tech turrets, but I was burned out and I had no will left to continue this wipe. I actually regret joining these fights because I have stopped playing and I couldn't return their favor in any shape or form. That's a bummer. Also, fun fact, I had the tech turret engram, but no heavy turret engram. I don't know if you remember this, but at the start of this video I said I don't want to start my playthrough without reaching level 100, but I finished it at level 99. Way to go planning, right? Anyway, thank you for watching my last ancient unofficial PvP server experience, dear watchers, and